never proof of life, you just read about. We only come to turn the party out.
So what's the show about today? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you what the show is about today. My name is Victory Battle, and this show is my Thursday 7:30 variety hour. And what do I talk about? Well, the very premise of why I'm doing this in the very first place is what I'm going to be talking about today. So, as you've been probably following, I'm recovering from a pretty major surgery. Along with, of course, globally we've been going through this, of course, the COVID and, coming through the other end where we're getting our shots or we're struggling to get our shots. If you've been watching the show, you'll be hearing my story as I try to find a way to get the shot. And it has been a challenge. And it's been such a challenge that I still haven't received my first one. But that's okay. It'll come. Okay, you got to be patient. But that is not the topic of today. Today's topic is about action in the face of resistance. Now, you heard me talking about resistance just the other day, and I explained exactly what it was. But for those who didn't watch that show, I understand. Resistance is the internal conflict of that voice that tells you not to do something that you love. It is the voice of fear. It is the voice of unreasonable I would guess that you say unreasonable look at yourself. All right. It takes anything possible that could go wrong, and it tells it to you like as if it's happening in the present. So what do I mean by that? Well, the resistance voice is not something that is unique to something that is me. No. I think we all have it in some level. That's generally when you have things like stage fright. It's the resistance saying you're going to screw it up. People are not going to like you. They're going to laugh at you. That kind of stuff. Now, as you know, generally none of that is in reality. And even if the parts that are in reality, like you might flub up your line or you might sing out of key or whatever it is that's coming into your consciousness when it comes to resistance. Most of that stuff is overcome by just practice and perseverance. And what I want to talk about right now, which is action. So I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory. This last week has been a very serious challenge for me. And I think what has happened is I've been getting overwhelmed with things like my health condition, what I'm going through, COVID, and my fear, of course, of employment, my career, and just keeping a roof over my head. So all this stuff has really come to a front. And I could just lie in my bed and be scared about it and think about the world coming to an end and how this is all going to play out in the negative form and how I am just going to be a victim of circumstance and watch it as the train slowly comes over and runs me over. Now, that is the voice of resistance. It'll just say, well, here's your lot. All right? Bad luck this time, buddy. That's just the way it goes. And maybe it'll pull from my past. It'll pull from things that were hard for me in the past. And it'll say, remember how it was hard then? Well, here you are again. So these are the kind of things that the resistance says. Now, the counterpoint to all of that is, of course, that you first have to recognize that is going on. So once you first recognize that you have this resistance, that this sound in your head, this negativity, the world is going to end voice. If you have that, the first thing you want to do is recognize that it's there. And when you recognize it, you can address it. Now, the thing is, well, a lot of times when we have problems, we point to things outside of ourselves to be our adversaries, when really our adversaries is internal. And which is really great about having an internal adversary is at least you can address it, all right? Head on, personal. If it's something from the outside, like a crazy ex-wife that's killing you financially and you can't see your kids. Well, that is an external source, and that sort of thing, I guess you would deal with some other tools. Luckily for me, that is not my situation. Unlucky for me, this is my situation, which is my health when it comes to this major surgery that I had, the financial burden that comes with it, not being able to, be gainfully employed because of it. COVID is holding back my business and events. Those are my real issues. But this show is about me overcoming those issues. All right? And so let's get back to action. So when I was having this, let's just say for lack of better words, a pity party with my resistance voice, and I listened to it pretty deeply a couple nights, it really got to me. And I listened to it, And I let it be. I just let it be. And then I took out my notebook and I started writing down all the things that the resistance was saying. I wrote it down so I could physically look at the words, these negative thoughts, these perceptions. I remember they're just perceptions. I wrote them all down. Okay, so I looked at it. And then what I did was I stepped out from myself and I thought about, what if I had an action figure? All right? Or what if I had a hero facing these challenges? What if I was to write a script about how a hero, how an action figure would take on my personal challenges? So I wrote down also my personal challenges. And I wrote them down. So I took down the resistance voice. I took my actual challenges. I put them all down, and then I confronted them as my action figure, as my own personal hero. Now, I'm going to get into this in a later date, and it's going to be tied into why I changed my name to Victory as opposed to when it used to be Todd. Now, you're probably going to hear a lot of people talk about my name being Todd still, and that's fine, but it's, slowly working its way out, and in comes my new name, Victory. Now, I'll get into that and how this ties to today's session. But basically, you can become anything you want to become. You can become the person that you want to become. So for me to confront these things, I can't think of them in old Todd thoughts, okay? Old Todd thoughts were part of the resistance, the negativity, the woe was me, this here it comes again. All that stuff, counting my problems, counting them down. That was the old me. The new me, the Victory me, can create an action figure to deal with my situation. So let's see how I dealt with it. Okay, so I looked at all the positive things. So that's what an action figure would do. And one of them is, of course, I have this means to do my show on Thursday and Friday and Sunday, and more to come, of course. I have all the tools, the know-how. I have a skill set that very few people have. And as a matter of fact, I have it so uniquely that no one has it the way I have. I have a purpose, a premise that is really great for what I want to embark on when it comes to my YouTube channel. So those are some of the things I had going for me, even during my darkest times. So what I'm getting at for today is that you can listen to the voices in your head that tell you it's not going to work out. You can listen to all the worry and where the worry ever gets you. Or you can take down all that stuff, be constructive about it, and face it. Remember, fear is not necessarily 100% bad. It's just telling you to come to action. Fear is only bad when you do inaction and you let it overwhelm you. All right? So I'm going to be talking more about that on the show. If you want to know more about the show that I'm building, it is about perseverance. It's about my personal perseverance in the here and now. And maybe, just maybe, some of the tools that I'm using, some of the things that I'm saying, really resonate with you. And if they do, great. Please throw me a comment. Please throw me a message. Email me. You'll have all my information, of course. And let me know how you're coming along. What are the tools that you're using? Thank you, everybody, for watching this show. My name is Victory Battle, and this is Victory Battle Alive.